You are listening live to Football Live.
Here is your host, Dean Kilford.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Football Live. I'm Dean Kilford and delighted to be with you this afternoon, along with our team of fantastic reporters who'll be bringing you all of the action from a very special day in the English football calendar. Today is, of course, F.A. Cup third round day, where the competition starts to get serious and where shocks are found each and every year. But who will be today's giant killers? Perhaps it will come at Stamford Bridge, where Morecambe are the visitors. History would suggest that this should be a comfortable victory for the Premier League side. But here to tell us about a very strong-looking Chelsea lineup is Jack Hesson. Good afternoon to you, Jack.
Yeah, very good afternoon to you, Dean. And yeah, as you said, if this was a scalp today, it would be one of the biggest in FA Cup history. Chelsea, fifth in the Premier League at the moment. Morecambe sitting second bottom in League Two. 79 places in the English Football League pyramid separate these two sides this afternoon. They've only played once before, and that was this time 4 years ago in this exact same fixture. Just 4 years ago yesterday, Chelsea won that game by 4-0. And as you said, a strong lineup, but there is 10 changes from that lineup that started in the 1-1 draw against Crystal Palace at the weekend. And it's Jorgensen that starts in goals, a back line of Reece James, Tosin Adebayo, a summer signing from Fulham and who is eligible for selection for the Nigerian national team as well, starts alongside Alex Disasi and Renato Vega make up the back line. Midfield defensive one of Romeo Lavia, an attacking midfield four of Pedro Neto, the only remaining player from that Crystal Palace draw. Starts with Christopher Nkunku, João Felix and Tyreek George. Mark Guehi, who's scored 6 goals in 8 in the Conference League this season so far, starts and leads the line for Chelsea. And as for Morecambe, a couple of players you can look out for. They did lose the last game by 1-0. Reece Williams is at the back. He's on loan from Liverpool. And the striker up front for them is number 19, Dackers, looking to try and get a scalp. So as I said, this will be a massive scalp. Morecambe have never got past the third round of the FA Cup. It all suggests a routine victory for Chelsea, but you never know in the FA Cup. Kick-off just seconds away.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much, Jack. Of course, you do never know, but perhaps more likely will be a shock at the G-Tech Community Stadium. Brentford have never beaten Plymouth in 9 previous FA Cup meetings between the two sides. Luke Cholton can bring us the team news ahead of this one.
Good afternoon, Dean, and good afternoon, Football Live listeners. You join me today for an FA Cup clash with Premier League Brentford taking on Championship Plymouth Argyle, who are rock bottom of the table in the Championship. For this game, both the sides have rung the changes to the third round fixture, most notably for the home side, who've made 6 changes from the thrashing of Southampton last week. They see the return of fullback Rico Henry after an extensive injury layoff, and Fabio Carvalho comes up to lead the line. For the away side, though, all the attention has been on the appointment of their new manager, Miron Muslik, who is watching the action from the stands. The Austrian is the first ever foreign manager to be employed by Argyle, and he'll be hoping that Ghanaian striker Michael Baidu will be able to fire his side into the next round and cause a real upset this afternoon. It's all set to be an entertaining clash, and I'll keep you updated with all the action over the next hour and a half.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much, Luke. Well, a tricky trip to Carrow Road for Brighton sees the Battle of the Birds as the Canaries take on the Seagulls. Norwich won the last time these two met in the FA Cup, and Paul James is on hand to give us the latest team news ahead of this one.
Yes, Canaries versus the Seagulls, and Norwich, well, their best record in the FA Cup was the semi-final in 1991-92, runners-up to Sunderland. George Long, the changes for Norwich. George Long steps in for Angus Gunn. Jose Cordoba, Jack Stacey, Awankwa Forza and Lewis Dobbin are all in for Shane Duffy, Kellen Fisher, Emiliano Marcondes and Broya Saints. For Brighton, their best finish in the FA Cup, of course, was the final in 1983. They also make 5 changes. Igor comes in for Webster, Simon Adingra for Koru Mitoma, Matt O'Reilly for Julio Encisa, Brian Gruder for Jakub Minter, João Pedro for Jorginho Ruta. There is actually also a change in goal. It's 6 changes. Jason Steele is in for Bart Verbruggen. 1.5 minutes gone here. It's 0-0.
Thank you very much, Paul. We've had our first FA Cup goal of the afternoon. And it's Tom Cannon who's fired in from the penalty spot to make it Sunderland 0, Stoke City 1. And what a start that is in the all-championship tie between Sunderland and Stoke City. Sunderland won the league meeting between the two sides just a month or so ago. And it's Ethan Gardner covering that one for us. We will go to him very, very shortly to get an update on that. Before we go and join him, though, let's go to the City Ground, where once there was an FA Cup final between the two sides. It's high-flying Nottingham Forest taking on Luton Town, and Richard Bond is in place at the City Ground.
Good afternoon, Dean. Good afternoon, listeners. We're just underway in this clash between, like you say, high-flying Forest and Championship strugglers Luton. Forest come in massive favourites for this tie after 6 wins in a row, held to the lofty heights of third in the league. But this is the Cup. Luton may take some heart as manager Nuno Espirito Santo's Forest side have completely changed their 11 today, bringing in Taiwo Awoniyi, a striker who's scored plenty of goals in the past after scoring on Monday night in their win at Wolves. Luton, though, they've gone down into that bottom, into the second tier of the English Championship, and a really bad away record this season, and lost 11 out of 13 games. They just made the one change. They changed their manager for today, so they've got a caretaking team in. New signing Isaiah Jones has come in from Middlesbrough, and he will look to make an impact in a side which features the wonderfully named Marvellous Makamba. Interesting, Luton have had the best of this fixture over the last few times, unbeaten in the last 6. So we're not sure which way this one will go. Forest massive favourites, but for now, 5 minutes in, it's Forest 0, Luton 0.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much, Richard. Let's go and hear about that Stoke City goal from our very own Ethan Gardner. Good afternoon to you, Ethan.
Good afternoon, Dean. It's a fantastic start for the Potters here at the Stadium of Light. Tom Cannon scores the penalty, which was won by youngster Lewis Kumas, who's on loan at the club from Liverpool. These sides have met twice already this season in the league, winning an encounter each, but it's a great start for Stoke, who scored their first goal under new manager Mark Robbins. He joined just 9 days ago, and they'll be looking to hope and hold on to this lead now with quite a long time to go, but we'll see. Both of these sides went out in the third round last season, so any win is an improvement today. After 5 minutes, it's Sunderland 0, Stoke 1.
There we go. Could that be somewhat of an upset? Sunderland with a good record against Stoke City in recent games. Well, West Bromwich Albion have been eliminated from 13 of their last 16 FA Cup ties against Premier League opponents, and today they face an unpredictable Bournemouth side who are looking to progress to the 4th round. Jordan Ockley is ready and raring to go at the Hawthorns for us. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, we've kicked off at the Vitality Stadium. Bournemouth versus West Brom. It could be a banana skin for Bournemouth because West Brom have been doing very well in the Championship, currently sitting 6th place. Kepa has come in for Travers in goal for Bournemouth, and Sola comes in for the informed Kirkes, and the Ghanaian winger Semenyo misses out as Aarons takes his place. The most notable change for West Brom is that Josh Maja, who's of Nigerian descent, he's been on really good form in the Championship. He has 12 goals. He misses out, and Swift replaces him up front. West Brom are unbeaten in their last 3 games in the Championship, so they're definitely no slouches, but Bournemouth unbeaten in their last 8 in the Premier League. So we're due for a good game today at the Vitality Stadium, currently 0-0.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much, Jordan. Let's go to Stamford Bridge, where there's already been an early chance for the hosts, Jack Hesson.
Early chance for Chelsea, early chance for Morecambe as well, but the first chance for Chelsea, it was a free kick, dangerous on the edge of the area from the far side, whipped in, and it was Axel Disasi who was a man to get there first, a free header. He's just got to hit the target, skies it over the bar, and just as you came to me there, Marcus Dacker's a striker for Morecambe, had space on the right hand side, finds the underlap of Benjamin Toilet in towards the box, he cuts inside, tries a tight angled left foot shot, it goes straight towards goalkeeper Philip Jorgensen. Yeah, Jorgensen makes a bit of a meal of it initially, manages to catch it on the second time, but danger from Morecambe, and it's still 0-0 here.
Great stuff there. Thank you very much, Jack. Maybe the first chance of many this afternoon at Stamford Bridge as Chelsea take on Morecambe. Just the one goal in our featured FA Cup games so far. But earlier on today, Birmingham City progressed to the 4th round, beating Lincoln by 2-1. Yokoyama scored in the very first minute for Birmingham City before Dykes made it 2 with 12 minutes to go. A late consolation Makama penalty made the scoreline closer than the game was in truth. Leicester City have scored a 4th goal against QPR. We're into the second half in that one. It's Leicester City 4, QPR 2, and it's Jamie Vardy from 12 yards to make it Leicester 4, QPR 2. James Justin got the home side into the lead after 9 minutes. That lead lasted 9 minutes before Varane scored his first goal for QPR. Mavididi and Buonanotte scored twice within a minute to give Leicester a 3-1 lead before Coley pulled one back just in stoppage time of the first half. But Jamie Vardy's penalty just moments ago has made it 4-2 and restored Leicester's 2-goal advantage as they look to progress through to the fourth round. Earlier at Ashton Gate, it finished Bristol City 1, Wolves 2. Wolves were fantastic in the first half and with 2 goals up inside 21 minutes. Aït-Nouri and Gomez with the goals. But a Scott Twine free kick just before the break really gave Bristol City some hope, and they came out improved in the second half and hit the underside of the bar with just a couple of minutes to go. And Aït-Nouri header onto his own crossbar was just a whisker away from levelling things up in that one. But it is the Premiership side that progressed through to the FA Cup fourth round. A bit of a shock in an old championship game between Middlesbrough and Blackburn saw the visitors come away with the victory. Vyman's goal with 20 minutes to go was the difference maker. It finished 1-0 to Blackburn in that one. And in a game between Liverpool and Accrington Stanley, who are they? Were there a side that put up a good fight but ultimately lost 4-0 to Liverpool, a much changed team. But a welcome goal for Chiesa saw Liverpool romp to a 4-0 victory in that one. Let's go to the City Ground. Nottingham Forest versus Luton Town, 2 giants from yesteryear battling for a place in the fourth round. There's been half a chance, I believe, but Nottingham Forest, Richard Bonds.
Yes, Nottingham Forest, as you can imagine, started up stronger, the two sides. They've had most of the play, even though they have changed half the team. And it was that man, Awoniyi. We're going to be expecting to see quite a lot of him this afternoon, looking to get back into that first team. Jota Silva played a nice little 1-2 with him. He was put through. He just started to get away, but Mark McInnes managed to get back just to put a last-ditch tackle when he would have been through on goal. But at the moment, positive signs for Forest, not so much for Luton. It's Forest 0, Luton 0, 10 minutes gone.
Thank you very much, Richard. Let's go back to the stadium. Like to see how Sunderland have responded to conceding that early Tom Cannon penalty, Ethan Gardner.
Well, they've tried to calm things down, but it's not particularly worked. Both sides really getting their feet on the ball, and it's Stoke who've worked the latest half chance. The ball came to Lewis Kumas in the box, but he sliced the volley and it went so high it almost went out of the stadium. But in the heat of the goal, I didn't even mention the team news. Sunderland, to be fair to them, have made 5 changes from their last time out, and English-Nigerian left-back Ajibola Eleze has been heavily involved early on. Stoke themselves made 3 changes, but a bit more fluid, and it is only their second game under a new manager, but they're looking good so far. After 10 minutes, it's Sunderland 0, Stoke 1.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much, Ethan. Back to Stamford Bridge, where Chelsea are laying siege to the Morecambe goal, Jack Hesson.
Yeah, another chance for Chelsea, and it's from another set piece whipped in dangerously into the box, and it looks like it's almost going all the way in. Harry Burgoyne manages to get a glove onto it, and it falls to João Felix in a really grateful position just outside the 6-yard box. Hits it on the volley, but skies it over the bar. Chances coming for the Blues. 11 minutes in, still Chelsea 0, Morecambe 0.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much. We have had our second featured goal of the afternoon. And there could be a shock on the cards down on the south coast, where West Bromwich Albion have taken the lead at Bournemouth. It's Bournemouth 0, West Bromwich Albion 1. And it's Taylor who has got the goal after 14 minutes. The defender rising to give the visitors the lead there. We'll give you an update from Jordan Ockley as soon as we can. But it's the visitors that lead at the Vitality. Bournemouth 0, West Bromwich Albion 1. In the meantime, let's go to Carrow Road. Norwich City taking on Brighton Hove Albion. Paul James is there, and a chance for the hosts in this one as well.
Yes, absolutely. The ball came down the left-hand side and it was whipped into the box with pace by Callum Doyle. And just trying to get his foot on the end of it was Jan-Paul van Hecker to block the cross. He almost diverted it into his own goal. From the resulting corner, it was swung in, and there was an effort by Oscar Schwartau, which was a good save in the end by Jason Steele, wearing the captain's armband today for Brighton. 12 minutes gone, it's Norwich 0, Brighton 0.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much, Paul. Let's go down to the Vitality and hear about that goal for West Bromwich Albion with Jordan Ockley.
Yeah, surprise goal for West Brom. A free kick taken by Swift, and it was a swift free kick that he whipped into the box. and it was Diangana that won the header, and it hit the crossbar, but Taylor responded before all of the Bournemouth defenders climbed above them and headed it beyond Kepa. Kepa didn't even dive for the header. It was that accurate. It was into the corner. Taylor scores for West Brom. Quite a surprise because Bournemouth have been keeping the most possession, but West Brom have got the important stat, and that is the first goal of the game. So it's Bournemouth 0, West Brom 1.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much, Jordan. Elsewhere in the FA Cup, Oxford have taken the lead against Exeter. Matt Phillips with the goal after 14 minutes to give Oxford the lead there. The away side's doing well so far in the FA Cup third round. Earlier on today in La Liga, Alaves 0, Girona 1 was how it finished. And a late goal from Solis Romero in the 91st minute, no fact, gave Girona all 3 points in that one. That result means that Girona climb up to 7th in the table and now just 2 points behind Real Mallorca in those European places. For Alaves, they remain 2 points above the drop zone, but of course have played a game more than all of the teams below them. And also in the African Champions League, Manima 1, Mamelodi Sundowns 2 is a full-time score. Kitambala gave Manamima the lead in the 39th minute. But the game turned on its head 7 minutes from the end. Shalalili with the equaliser in the 83rd minute and a Mwanda own goal in the 5th minute of added time saw Mamelodi Sundowns come away with all 3 points in the 5th round tie in that one. Let's go back to Stamford Bridge. Chelsea versus Morecambe, and Chelsea getting closer and closer to taking the lead. Jack Hesson.
And once again, it's danger from a set piece for the home side. And as that man I was talking about earlier, eligible for selection for Nigeria, Tosin Adebayo, centre-half, summer signing from Fulham. He gets to the ball at the front post, gets his head onto it, but it hits off the bar and out for a goal kick. 14 minutes on the clock, still Chelsea 0. Morecambe 0.
Thank you very much, Jack. In the Serie A this afternoon, we're into the second half of our two games there. Udinese 0, Atalanta 0 is the latest score. It's also Empoli 1, Lecce 2. Lecce were 2 up inside 11 minutes. Tete Morente and Kristovic with the goals. But just at the start of the second half, Cassisi has pulled a goal back for Empoli. So it's 2-1 to the visitors in that one. I keep you up to date with any of the goals as they go in that one. Let's go back down to Carrow Road, Norwich City versus Brighton Hove Albion, and another big chance in this one, Paul James.
Oh, there's a chance at both ends. I mean, goodness me, all of a sudden this game has just come to life. The ball was played through to Karim Matoma, who all of a sudden found himself one-on-one with Norwich backup goalkeeper George Long. Well, he gets across and makes a superb save to deny Brighton the early lead, and then Norwich go right down the other end of the field, and the ball is picked up on the edge of the area by the Norwich number 22, Lewis Dobbin. He curls a shot away from the goalkeeper, Jason Steele, and it rattles the post. And we are still 0-0 somehow with 16 minutes gone.
Sounds like that game is heating up nicely, which is just as well considering the freezing temperatures sweeping England over these last few days. I can tell you at Stamford Bridge, Chelsea getting closer and closer where they may well now have a real opportunity to open the scoring as they have a penalty. Chelsea with a penalty at Stamford Bridge. Whilst we wait to hear the outcome of that penalty, let's go to the City Ground. Nottingham Forest versus Luton Town. Richard Bonds.
Yeah, Forest coming closer now. It looks like they're going to play on the counter-attack when trying to pounce on Luton's errors. Lovely ball over the top. James Ward-Prowse, is a nice player to bring in to second 11. Puts the ball over. Awani's gone flying through. He's just taken a touch, shot quite hard, maybe a little bit rusty, just gone wide of the post to the right-hand side. Still Nottingham Forest 0, Luton 0 with 15 minutes gone.
Well, I can tell you the penalty was missed. Chelsea had a chance from 12 yards. Christopher Nkunku stepped up and he manages to miss from 12 yards. It's still goalless at Stamford Bridge. We will join Jack Hesson very, very shortly. But before then, just a reminder that you are listening to Football Live.
Every Saturday afternoon from 4 o'clock. Join us right here on Brila FM for Football Live.
Oh, yes!
Unrivaled action-packed coverage of the big Premier League action.
And that's no exaggeration.
Taking the action to you, the listener.
This is just incredible.
All of the goals.
It was a super strike, it has to be said.
All the key action.
It is a fantastic strike.
Cutting-edge opinion.
He's just not the right guy.
Expert analysis.
So I'm quite impressed the way they played.
Brilliant coverage from our team of reporters.
5 goals for Chelsea, 3 goals for Cole Palmer.
There's only one place to be on a Saturday afternoon, and that's right here on Brila FM for Football Live.
Football Live returns to Brila FM next Saturday afternoon. Liverpool in the thick of the action as they go to Brentford. We've also got West Ham against Crystal Palace in a London derby. Fulham look to continue their excellent form away at struggling Leicester City. And in the Bundesliga, it's Bayern Munich against Wolfsburg. A busy Saturday afternoon. Join John Kane from 4 o'clock next Saturday afternoon, right here on Football Live, exclusive to Brila FM.
Hello and a very good afternoon to you.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody.
Absolute screamer.
Banging form.
Into dreamland.
Oh my God, they were crying.
What was he doing in the box?
Check my phone, mate, he's not in there.
He looks thoroughly disgusted.
They've been absolutely brilliant. That's proper.
So much to tell you about.
So much going on.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
In the Premier League, you just never know.
You are listening to Football Live on Brila FM 88.9 and 101.1 FM.
From the beginning.
Hit it, boys. You are listening to Football Live.
Join on the corner where the big boys play.
You are listening live to Football Live.
Here is your host, Dean Kilford.
Well, you would not want to be anywhere else but listening to Football Live on a Saturday afternoon right here on Brila FM. Chelsea had the chance to score from 12 yards, but ultimately Christopher Nkunku fluffed his lines. Jack Hesson, what happened?
Yeah, it was a poor penalty, but firstly, the penalty in the first place was complete madness from Morecambe. It was a corner once again, whipped all the way to the back post, almost going out of play. João Felix gets onto the back post, tries to play it across, but the Morecambe man, Jan Sonogo, who was in front of João Felix, was signalling to the referee that the ball went out of play, so he put his hands up in the air. João Felix tries to get the ball back in towards the face of goal, and it cannons off of his hands. As he's got them up in the air to try and say to the ref, the balls went out of play. It didn't go out of play, and the penalty was given, and it was a poor penalty from Christopher Nkunku. Tried to get it into the bottom right-hand corner, didn't get it enough to the far side. It was right at goalkeeper Harry Bogwine, and it was a comfortable enough save for the Morecambe man. So we are 21 minutes played here, still Chelsea now, Morecambe nil.
And the longer it stays goalless, you just wonder, could this be the shock on the cards? Chelsea have won 36 of their last 37 games against lower league opposition, last losing in a 4th round tie against Bradford a few years ago. Elsewhere, I can tell you about a 5th goal for Leicester City and a 2nd for James Justin against QPR. It's now 5-2 to the home side there. And Exeter have equalised against Oxford as well. Dimitri Mitchell after 22 minutes to make it Exeter City 1, Oxford United 1. Meanwhile, there's been chances in some of our featured games, and we'll start with the game at the City Ground where Nottingham Forest are taking on Luton Town, Richard Bonds.
And it's for the visitors, and they had a really good effort from Liam Walsh, 30 yards out, like an arrow. He's just struck this one against the run of play, and he's picked out a camera save for Carlos Miguel. He's dived into the top left-hand corner, got fingertips on it, pushing it over the bar. What a brilliant save. That's one to see if you can. It's at the moment, though, Forest 0, Luton 0, 22 minutes gone.
Brilliant stuff. Thanks very much, Richard. Let's go down to the G-Tech Community Stadium to check in with Luke Charlton. Brentford are taking on Plymouth Argyle. A reminder that Brentford have never beaten Plymouth in 9 previous FA Cup meetings between the two sides. Does that run look like continuing, Luke?
Well, at the moment, it's been all Brentford so far for the opening 22 minutes or so, but there was a glorious chance for Plymouth to take a shock lead in this one, actually. Coming down the left-hand side, Callum Wright was able to cut in and force a brilliant save from Brentford's backup keeper, who's starting in place of Flecken today in net. And they really could have been 1-0 up, and it would have certainly been against the run of play. Brentford themselves haven't really been able to make any clear-cut chances, but they've dominated the ball, and all of the action is up their end of the attacking end of the pitch. So I'm certain that they'll be breaking the deadlock in no time at all. But as always, I'll keep you posted with that. So 23 minutes gone here. Brentford 0, Plymouth Argyle 0.
Thank you very much, Luca. Let's go back to Carrow Road. Norwich City taking on Brighton Hove Albion, I should say. And a big chance for the visitors, Paul James.
Yeah, a couple of chances actually for Brighton, both from the same guy, Jorginho Ruta. First of all, the ball was down the right-hand side. Yakubo Minter pulled the ball back. The shot by Jorginho Ruta was poor, and it was blocked and turned behind for a corner. Shortly after that, on the other side, on the left side, Mitoma pulled the ball back for Ruta. This time a much better shot, but well blocked by Callum Doyle. 23 minutes gone, Norwich 0, Brighton 0.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much, Paul. I can tell you that Norwich have had 3 attempts on goal, 1 on target. Brighton 4, 2 on target. At Stamford Bridge, Chelsea, there's 6 attempts for them, but they've failed to hit the target. So that penalty obviously deemed to be a shot off target. That tells you the quality of Nkunku's penalty. Morecambe have had just the 1 effort, but it was at least on target. Let's go back to the City Ground. Nottingham Forest versus Luton Town, and a big chance for the home side, Richard Bonds.
Yeah, this game's livening up a bit now, and it's Ryan Yates who's had the chance to pick the ball up 25 yards. That's a nice little bit of interchange between Jota Silva and Moreno coming up on that left-hand side. Pulled the ball back to the edge of the box, and there is Yates. He smashes it, and it cannons off the top of the crossbar and goes over. We're getting close to a goal here, I feel. At the moment, though, Forest 0, Luton 0, 23 minutes gone.
Thank you very much, Richard. Let's update you with the scores in the Bundesliga's half-time in all of these games. Freiburg 2, Holstein Kiel 0 is a latest score. Remember, going goal after 23 minutes gave Freiburg the lead before Gunter's second 7 minutes before the break has left the half-time score of Freiburg 0, Holstein Kiel 1. I can tell you there's been a second goal at the Vitality. And Justin Kluivert has levelled things up for the hosts. It's Bournemouth 1, West Bromwich Albion 1. And what a game we could very much have on our hands down at the Vitality Stadium. Bournemouth 1, West Bromwich Albion 1, a later score. Justin Kluivert with the goal to level things up for the Cherries. Elsewhere, I will get you back up to date with those scores from the Bundesliga. Heidenheim 1, Union Berlin 0 is a latest score. Kratzig scored the opening goal for Heidenheim after 17 minutes. Then Roth was sent off. Straight red card 8 minutes before the break. So Union Berlin down to 10 men with a long way to climb to try and get anything back from this game. Hoffenheim 0, Wolfsburg 1 is a latest score. Amora with the goal after 29 minutes to give the visitors the lead in that one. Mainz 1, Bochum 0 is also a later score. Burkhardt's goal after 23 minutes gives Mainz a slender lead going to the break. And finally, St. Pauli 0, Eintracht Frankfurt 1. Mamouche's goal after 32 minutes giving the visitors the lead in that one. Let's go and hear about that Bournemouth equaliser at the Vitality with Jordan Ockerley.
Bournemouth are back in the game. It didn't take too long. They've been knocking at the door, and it was Brooks, who scored a goal in Bournemouth's last game in the Premier League. Now he's back with an assist. A great cross from the right-hand side, and at the far post was Justin Kluivert. It was an easy goal for him, an easy finish at the far post. Just had to tap it in, slammed it into the roof of the net. The West Brom defenders just didn't cut it out, and it's easy for Justin Kluivert, who's having a great season for Bournemouth. They make it 1-1. And they look odds on to push on and probably get more goals in this match the way it's faring. So it's Bournemouth 1, West Brom 1.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much, Jordan. Let's go straight back to Stamford Bridge, where another chance for the home side, Jack Hesson.
Yeah, a chance for the young Spaniard, Mark Guehi up front for Chelsea. As I mentioned, 6 goals in 8 in the Conference League this season, so we'll be expecting to try and bag one, and he was close there. A nice pass on the edge of the area, just gets a shot from the edge of the area, it's so close to the right-hand post. But as you come to me there, Morecambe had a decent opportunity there. Once again, space on the right-hand side for Ben Tollett to whip in across. Philip Jorgensen, as I mentioned earlier, struggled with a shot at goal, and he struggled to try and get to that cross initially, palms it away and then recovers it when the ball was on the ground. So Once again, Morecambe space on that right-hand side, and Philip Jorgensen and goals for them looking dodgy. We are 27 minutes played here, still Chelsea now, Morecambe nil.
Thank you very much, Jack. Chances keep coming at the City ground. So close yet so far yet again, Richard Bond.
Oh, it's the visitors again now. So Isaiah Jones making his debut today on that left-hand side for Luton. He's had a little bit of a jinky run, cut inside the box, taken on a defender, launches a shot quite low, going towards the bottom right-hand corner. But there's the big Brazilian keeper once more again. And Miguel, he's got down really low. Fair play for a big lad, just to pop it round the post. Getting closer here. It's Nottingham Forest 0, Luton 0 at 29 minutes on the clock.
Thank you very much, Richard. Hibs have taken the lead against Motherwell. Martin Boyle from the penalty spot after 27 minutes has given Hibs the lead there in the Scottish Premiership. Let's go back down to the Vitality Stadium. Bournemouth got themselves level, but were close to turning this game on its head, Jordan.
Yeah, it's all Bournemouth right now. Bournemouth are really pushing the pace. It was Brooks who got the assist for that first goal, and he almost made it 2-1. If not for the great save from Wildsmith. He tried to curl it into the far corner, Brooks, but it was a fantastic save. But Bournemouth are really turning it on now at the Vitality Stadium. I won't be surprised if it's going to be 2-1 before half-time. It's Bournemouth 1, West Brom 1.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much. Now straight down to the Stadium of Light. Sunderland trailing Stoke City by a goal to nil. It's going to stun the home side, but they're starting to get themselves back into this one, I believe, Ethan.
Yeah, it's taken them almost half an hour, but Sunderland are starting to show signs of life and get back into this one. They had a half chance not long ago, left winger Adil Awashish putting a low cross in that was saved by the goalkeeper. In truth, they've been losing the battle in the midfield, but it might interest Sunderland fans to know they were presenting a new signing before kickoff. He's in on loan from AS Roma till the end of the season. It's Enzo Lefebvre, a French midfielder. They're going to have a free kick coming up, and they are starting to come back in the flow of this game, but after 30 minutes, it's Sunderland 0, Stoke 1.
Thank you very much, Ethan. And back to Stamford Bridge, where you guessed it, Chelsea had another opportunity to score.
Yeah, this time and it's João Felix just on the edge of the area, gets his space, hits a lovely right-footed shot on the turn. It's drilled towards the bottom right-hand corner. Goalkeeper Harry Burgoyne once again at the reflexes to make a good save, and he gets his right palm onto it, palms it just off the bar, and then out for a corner. And from the resulting corner as well, Tosin Adebayo managed to get his head onto it. It was saved once again from Harry Burgoyne, but the referee blew a foul. So chances coming for Chelsea. Half an hour played, still Chelsea now, Morecambe nil.
You feel like it really is only a matter of time before Chelsea do take the lead finally in that one. Hit the woodwork twice, missed a penalty, but still yet to break the deadlock. And whilst it's still goalless, Morecambe fans will be thinking they may well have a chance. Meanwhile, back in the Scottish Premier League, Motherwell, well, maybe they don't have a chance. They've conceded a second goal inside 3 minutes. Nectorious Triantis with the second for Hibs to make it Hibs 2, Motherwell 0 in the Scottish Premier League. In Serie A in Italy, still no further updates. The scores as they were last time are brought to you with about 20 minutes or so left to go. Empoli 1, Lecce 2 and Udinese 0, Atalanta 0. Our latest scores in the English FA Cup third round with about 15 minutes left to go. It's Leicester City 5, QPR 2. It's Bournemouth 1, West Bromwich Albion 1, Brentford 0, Plymouth 0, Chelsea 0, Morecambe 0, Exeter City 1, Oxford United 1, Norwich City 0, Brighton Hove Albion 0, Nottingham Forest 0, Luton Town 0, Reading 0, Burnley 0, and Sunderland 0, Stoke City 1. Let's go and just check in around the grounds. Let's go back to the City ground where there hasn't been a chance for a few minutes. Have we had an injury or something, Richard? Or have we just settled down into the final 15 minutes or so of this first half?
It's very back and forth, but Forest really just haven't quite had that cutting edge this afternoon so far. They've had 5 shots, none on target. So Awani's looking the most dangerous of the players for them up top. But he just needs a chance. I think one might go in if he gets another one. As for Luton, they've done very well. In all fairness, new manager syndrome, as you say. A couple of shots, couple of good saves from the Forest keeper. But yeah, we're no goals as such as yet, but we're getting closer. It's Forest 0, Luton 0 with 33 minutes gone.
No goals there, but a third goal down at the Vitality. And our reporter, Jordan Lockley, predicted it, and Bournemouth have completed the turnaround. Uatara with the goal 10 minutes before the break to make it Bournemouth 2, West Bromwich Albion 1. Before we catch up with Jordan, let's go and head to to Carrow Road, where Norwich City are taking on Brighton, and hear about another chance for the visitors in that one, Paul James.
Yes, another chance for Brighton. Not quite as clear-cut this time. Baleba picks the ball up from about 20 yards out, strikes a shot. It's a disappointing effort, really. It's pulled wide. And to be honest, one he would expect to do better. But the first half is settling down really now into the last sort of 13 minutes of the half. It's still Norwich 0, Brighton 0.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much, Paul. Let's go then and hear about that second Bournemouth goal with Jordan Lockley.
Yeah, Bournemouth have been knocking on the door. It was coming. And Justin Kluivert, who got the goal to equalise for Bournemouth, now turns provider and provided the assist for Uatara. It was a great through ball, very slick, just played it inside of the West Brom defence. And Uatara still had a tight angle, still had a lot to do, was able to finish past Wildsmith with a very, very good finish on his left foot. Bournemouth, they look to be in cruise control, to be honest, and there might be a fair few more goals in this for them if West Brom don't step it up. Because Bournemouth are really playing well. It's Bournemouth 2, West Brom 1.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much for that, Jordan. Let's go back to the Stadium of Light. Sunderland taking on Stoke City. Last we heard, Sunderland were just starting to get a bit of rhythm into the game. Has that continued, Ethan?
No, they've lost entirely all of their rhythm. Stoke have actually come back into this one quite strongly and worked a couple of half opportunities really coming forward and again winning the battle of midfield, which I mentioned last time. Exceptional performances coming in from the likes of Lewis Kumas and Wouter Berger in midfield and on the left wing, and really they're showing a good dominance. Considering they're the away side, you wouldn't really be able to tell, and they haven't conceded in their last few games. In fact, Sunderland haven't kept a clean sheet against Stoke in their last 5, which continue today. These kinds of things are starting to become apparent in this match. 35 minutes in, Sunderland 0, Stoke 1.
Thank you very much, Ethan. It's just kicked off in the Eredivisie. Heracles taking on Sparta Rotterdam 0-0 after 3 minutes. We'll, of course, bring you updates of any goals as they go in. And I can tell you, there has finally been a goal at Carrow Road. And in the fight of the bird, you would always take a seagull over a canary. And it's Brighton Hove Albion who have broken the deadlock 7 minutes before the break. Norwich City 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 1 is the latest score. We'll get you an update from that one. Meanwhile, we can tell you about a rare chance for Morecambe at Stamford Bridge, Jack Hesson.
Yeah, once again, a half chance there for the visitors. It was on the left-hand side this time. Callum Jones playing a long ball over the top, which Marcus Deckers gets on the end of. He outpaces Axel Disasi, takes him on, cuts the ball into his right-hand side, tries a right-footed finish to curl it towards the left-hand corner, but ultimately a meek effort, an easy enough save for Philip Jorgensen. But that's the second shot on target of this game, the exact same amount that Chelsea have had. In 34 minutes played, it's still Chelsea now, 0, Morecambe 0.
Thank you very much. It's Jorginho Rutter with the goal for Brighton. The Frenchman has given the Seagulls the lead with just 8 minutes to go in that F.A.Cup fourth round game. Meanwhile, let's go back to the Stadium of Light. Sunderland versus Stoke City, Ethan Gardner.
Yeah, the best opportunity worked so far for the hosts. Sunderland broke down the left-hand side, and it's left winger Adil Awashish, who's looked pretty good, actually. He's been probably their brightest spark so far in this match. He cut inside onto his right foot and curled one that only just missed the right-hand post of Stoke's goal. A warning sign for the Potters, who are holding on to their narrow lead. After 57 minutes, though, it's Sunderland 0, Stoke 1.
Thank you very much, Ethan. Let's now go and hear... no, we won't go and hear about that goal just yet at Carrow Road. Before then, I'll just bring you up to date with these scores as we're approaching the final 5 minutes or so of the first half. At the Vitality Stadium, our featured game, Bournemouth 2, West Bromwich Albion 1, Brentford 0, Plymouth 0 at the GTEC Community Stadium, Chelsea 0, Morecambe 0, Exeter City 1, Oxford United 1, Norwich City 0, Brighton Hove Albion 1, Nottingham Nottingham Forest 0, Luton Town 0, Reading 0, Burnley 0, and Sunderland 0, Stoke City 1 are all latest scores. We'll bring you updates from that goal from Carrow Road, but in the meantime, you're listening to Football Live.
Every Saturday afternoon from 4 o'clock. Join us right here on Brila FM for Football Live.
Oh, yes!
Unrivaled action-packed coverage of the big Premier League action.
And that's no exaggeration.
Taking the action to you, the listener.
This is just incredible.
All of the goals.
It was a super strike, it has to be said.
All the key action.
It is a fantastic strike.
Cutting-edge opinion.
He's just not the right guy.
Expert analysis.
So I'm quite impressed the way they played.
Brilliant coverage from our team of reporters.
5 goals for Chelsea, 3 goals for Cole Palmer.
There's only one place to be on a Saturday afternoon, and that's right here on Brila FM for Football Live.
Football Live returns to Brila FM next Saturday afternoon. Liverpool in the thick of the action as they go to Brentford. We've also got West Ham against Crystal Palace in a London derby. Fulham look to continue their excellent form away at struggling Leicester City. And in the Bundesliga, it's Bayern Munich against Wolfsburg. A busy Saturday afternoon. Join John Kane from 4 o'clock next Saturday afternoon, right here on Football Live, exclusive to Brila FM.
Hello and a very good afternoon to you.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody.
Absolute screamer.
Banging form.
Into dreamland.
Oh my God, they were crying.
What was he doing in the box?
Check my phone, mate, he's not in there.
He looks thoroughly disgusted.
They've been absolutely brilliant. That's proper.
So much to tell you about.
So much going on.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
In the Premier League, you just never know.
You are listening to Football Live on Brila FM 88.9 and 101.1 FM.
From the beginning.
Hit it, boys.
You are listening to Football Live.
Join on the corner where the big boys play.
You are listening live to Football Live.
Here is your host, Dean Kilford.
And there's been a goal at the City grounds. And it's Ryan Yates who has broken the deadlock. And Nuno Espirito Santos' season and Nottingham Forest season just gets better and better. They lead Luton Town by 1-0. And at Stamford Bridge, the deadlock has finally been broken. And it's Morecambe who have finally conceded a goal. Adebayo is the man who's been credited with it, although there looks to be some confusion, as Tosin has also been credited as well. So we'll gear up very, very shortly. Meanwhile, let's go and hear about that Brighton goal that you may have heard about before we went to a break with Paul James.
Yes, really, Norwich have been the architect of their own downfall here, having several opportunities to clear it away before a resulting corner that was once again launched into the box. It was cleared out of the area, but only as far as Matoma. He plays the ball down to the right back for Brighton, Joel Veltman. Veltman swings across it, and it's a super header by Jorginho Rutter, suitably punishing some very poor Norwich defending. Beat the goalkeeper to his left-hand side. 4 minutes to go till half-time. Norwich 0, Brighton 1.
Thank you very much for that. Let's go and hear about the goal at the City ground. Richard Bond, Nottingham Forest, this season just keeps getting better.
It does, and considering all the changes, yes, they've taken the lead here against Luton, and a really good goal, well worked. Left-hand side, Ramon Sousa's picked the ball up, his in-swinging cross. It's come in, found a late run of Ryan Yates. It's felt the header really perfect, just headed down as he talked to into the ground, gone into the bottom left-hand corner. Really good goal. Nottingham Forest 1 to the good now. Forest 1, Luton 0.
Thank you very much, Richard. Meanwhile, there's been a fourth goal to the Vitality. Who are ya? Who are ya? It's Uatara who has got a second of the afternoon and a third for Bournemouth. They now lead West Brom by 3-1. Whilst we wait to hear about that one, let's go and hear about that Chelsea goal from Jack Hesson.
Yeah, deadlock broken at the bridge, and it's the Nigerian eligible centre-half Tosin Adebayo with the goal, passing it around the edge of the area. He took the ball just on the edge of the box, thinks, I'll have a pop at it, takes a shot. It's gone towards the right-hand corner, but takes a wicked deflection of Morecambe midfielder Callum Jones towards the left-hand corner and into the back of the net. Nothing Harry Bugwine and goals for Morecambe could have done about it. Chelsea, for all the chances, finally get a goal. 43 minutes on the clock. Chelsea 1, Morecambe 0.
Thank you very much, Jack. And now let's hear about that third goal for Bournemouth, Jordan Ockley.
Yeah, the third goal, it comes to Ouattara. Ouattara gets his second goal of the game. Brooks gets his second assist of the game. And it actually came from West Brom attacking Bournemouth. But Bournemouth hit them on the counter. And boy, were they countering. They were all coming into the attack. Brooks with his pace, Ouattara with his pace. And Brooks played a great through ball into Ouattara. But it was a fantastic finish. Controlled it on his left foot. Stroked it past the goalkeeper. Fantastic goal from Bournemouth. And if West Brom are not careful, this could turn into a cricket score because Bournemouth just continue to look dangerous. It's Bournemouth 3, West Brom 1.
Thank you very much, Jordan. Dimitri Mitchell has scored a second goal for Exeter City. They now lead Oxford United by 2-1 in the FA Cup third round. Meanwhile, let's head down to the Stadium of Light where Sunderland have been going close as they push for an equaliser against Stoke City, Ethan Gardner.
Yeah, finally working some proper chances. The hosts, the first one came for their winger, Eliza Mayenda, who cut inside from the right, hit one on his left, and it was quite a dangerous shot towards the bottom left-hand corner, but in the end, Stoke goalkeeper got there. And then afterwards, youngster Chris Rigg won a free kick that was whipped into the box. It beat the defenders, it beat the keeper, all ends up, but centre-back Luke O'Nien headed over the bar. Sunderland will be disappointed not to have taken any opportunities as we tick on towards half-time. After 44 minutes, it remains Sunderland 0, Stoke 1.
Thank you very much. We're coming into the closing stages of the first half. A minute of added time at the City Ground, a minute of added time at the Stadium Light, 2 minutes of added time at Carrow Road, and 2 minutes of added time at the Vitality Stadium. Meanwhile, Chelsea have had a chance to extend their lead, Jack Hesson.
Yeah, once again, that man, Adebayo, is getting a taste for goals, takes the ball just outside the edge of the area, probably 35 yards this time. It's a bullet towards the right-hand post. It just goes wide. 45 minutes on the clock, still Chelsea 1, Morecambe 0.
And there's been a second goal at Carrow Road. And you just have to watch out for those Seagulls because they can be menacing, particularly when you've got chips and they've got a second goal away at Norwich City. Brighton lead by 2-0, and they've scored in the second minute of added time, and it's a second goal for the Frenchman, Jorginho Rutter. It's Norwich City 0, Brighton Hove Albion 2, and a big second goal for them as they go into the break. Whilst we wait to hear about that goal, let's go back to the Forest ground where it's Nottingham Forest versus Luton Town, and the half-time whistle, I believe, has gone, Richard Bonds.
Yes, it's half-time here. It's Nottingham Forest 1, Luton 0. Forest in control of this one. Ryan Yates' header just before half-time, making a difference after the same player had hit the crossbar with a Raspin drive 5 minutes previous. Luton have had their chances, though. You know, Forest haven't really been at their best, but you can, considering the amount of changes, you can think that. But Luton had chances with Liam Walsh having a Raspin drive saved by Carlos Miguel, the stand-in Forest keeper, and also debutant Isaiah Jones at the shot, which was saved and pushed around the post. Luton's away record's been terrible, to say the least, this season, so that they'll have to improve drastically in the second half to get something out of this tie, considering Forest have only conceded 7 goals all season. Worrying thing for them will be Forest have still got the likes of Hudson-Odoi, Elanga and Chris Wood on the bench. But this is the FA Cup, you never know. It's Nottingham Forest 1, Luton 0 at half-time.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much, Richard. It's also half-time at the Vitality Stadium, and after an early scare, it's been a pretty comfortable afternoon for the Cherries, Jordan Ockley.
Yeah, very comfortable. That West Brom goal seems so long ago. Bournemouth have fully taken control since then. Taylor got the opening goal for West Brom, but since then, Justin Kluivert getting his 7th goal this season, equalised, and then it's been the Ouattara show after that. He hasn't got much goals this season, but he's putting in a pretty decent performance which could challenge the likes of Evan Nielsen for Bournemouth, who hasn't really been hitting the heights. Utara has been fantastic today. He's on a hat-trick. He scored 2 goals. Brooks assisted him, and Utara perhaps maybe might get the the match ball at the end of this game. Half-time, Bournemouth 3, West Brom 1.
Thank you very much, Jordan. Let's go and hear about that second Brighton goal with Paul James.
Yes, well, this could be a backbreaker for Norwich City right at the end of the first half like this. It was a super run by Yakubo Minta before playing the ball through to Jorginho Ruta, who struck the ball towards the goalkeeper's front post, and he manages to squeeze it in. Perhaps the goalkeeper might want that back. In doing so, though, Ruta has picked up an injury and he is down right now. But we are right at the end of stoppage time here, and it is now, I should say, Norwich 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 2.
So far, so good for the Premier League sides, of 2 former Premier League sides playing at the Stadium of Light. And it might be somewhat of an upset in this one that Stoke City lead at the break, Ethan Gardner.
Yes, indeed. Stoke City 19th in the Championship this season, Sunderland 4th, but those 15 places of difference don't seem to be having any impact. Youngster Lewis Kumas won a penalty brought down in the box by Luke O'Nien early on for Stoke, and the chance was tucked away by number 9 Tom Cannon. And since then, the Potters have looked strong, winning the midfield battle and denying Sunderland too many chances and towards the end of the first half. Sunderland unbeaten at home in their last 13 in all competitions. That's a serious threat, judging by the performances so far at the Stadium of Light. At half-time, it's Sunderland 0, Stoke 1.
Thank you very much, Ethan. Just a reminder, in the FA Cup this season, there are no replays at all from the first round, so all of the games will be settled today. If it's level at the end of 90 minutes, we'll go straight to a penalty shootout, which might be where we get our shock this afternoon, because it's currently at the G-Tech Community Stadium at half-time. Brentford 0, Plymouth Argyle 0, and there hasn't been too many chances in this one, Luke Charlton.
No, it's been a fairly a drab affair in front of goal for both sides, I'd say. It's Brentford that have dominated the possession, but they've been lacking that cutting edge, and I'm sure that Thomas Frank will be having some strong words for his side at the break here, because he'll be looking to really close out this game and take advantage of the dominance that Brentford have showed on the ball, and maybe looking for a couple of substitutions, maybe in Mbuemo or Johan Visser to come on later on to really give them some impetus up front. But for Plymouth, they're going to be pretty happy with their job so far. Resolute in defence, making sure that they're keeping lofted balls out the area and being strong on corners as well. So it's all to play for going into the second half, but at half-time here it's Brentford 0, Plymouth Argyle 0.
Thank you very much for that, Luke, as they're still goalless in that one. But it's not goalless as Leicester City have scored a 6th goal at the King Power Stadium. It's 6-2. Wout Vis with the goal to really give Leicester some gloss on the scoreline. To just clear up something that I said earlier. There is actually extra time before penalties should things finish level after 90 minutes. It's the Carabao Cup, where it goes straight to penalties, not the F.A. Cup. So half times all around the rest of the ground. The only game that we've not heard from is, or in fact, the 2 games we haven't heard from, are Carrow Road and at Stamford Bridge, where Chelsea finally got the breakthrough just before the interval. Do you think it's going to be a comfortable second half, Jack?
I'm really not sure, because it wasn't exactly a proficient attacking performance from Chelsea. They relied a lot on set pieces, have dominated possession, and really with that goal on 39 minutes from Tosin Adebayo kind of summed things up. A shot on the edge of the area, tried to go towards the right hand side, but it deflected off a Morecambe player, a wicked deflection, took it to the left hand side and left Harry Burgoyne in goal with no chance. To add to that, of course, that penalty miss on the 17th minute from Christopher Nkunku, a really poor penalty, not far enough to the right-hand corner, and once again an easy enough save for Harry Burgoyne, who's probably been Morecambe's man of the match so far. So Chelsea, they have been dominating the stats, they are winning, of course, but it's not over yet. Half-time at the Bridge, Chelsea 1, Morecambe 0.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much, Jack. Lecce scored a third goal deep into added time against Empoli. They now lead by 3-1. Krstovic with his second of the afternoon and Lecce's third. It means they'll move level on points with Empoli, but stay below them on goal difference. The half-time whistle has also gone at Carrow Road, where the half-time score was Norwich City 0, Brighton Hove Albion 2. A comfortable first half for the visitors, Paul James.
Yes, Brighton and Hove Albion take a 2-goal lead at Carrow Road. Jorginho Ruta might have even had more than 2 goals, forcing a good save out of long and having a couple of shots blocked as well. Norwich weren't without chances. They hit the post on 25 minutes, but so far so good for the Premier League team. 2 goals by Jorginho Ruta, 37 minutes and into stoppage time at the end of first half. At Carrow Road, it is Norwich City 0, Brighton 2 at half-time.
Thank you very much. Let's bring you up to date with all of the half-time scores in the English FA Cup. It's Bournemouth 3, West Bromwich Albion 1, Brentford 0, Plymouth 0, Chelsea 1, Morecambe 0, Exeter 2, Oxford United 1, Norwich 0, Brighton 2, Nottingham Forest 1, Luton Town 0, Reading 0, Burnley 0, and Sunderland 0, Stoke City 1. We'll bring you all the other scores from around Europe and around the other leagues in the world, as we always do on Football Live. But now it's time to join FJ and the team, and we'll see you very, very shortly.
You are listening live to Football Live. Why not find out some more about Football Live? Visit our website www.footballliveshow.uk.
Don't forget there are 3 L's in Football Live.
Meet the people behind Football Live and find out more about the show. You can follow Football Live on X at FootBLiveShow. That's FootBLiveShow. You are listening live to Football Live.
Around the grounds, chasing down the goals.
And you could not have scripted this. What an absolute beauty. VAR, you are in disgrace. And he's got the goal.
My goodness me, what a strike.
What a finish. You are tuned in to Football Live.
Okay guys, welcome to the weekly Football Live production meeting. I've got a great idea. We go out and we ask all the top football managers what they think of the show. Let's do this.
Jurgen Klopp, are you a fan of Football Live?
It's super. It's just super. It's really a top.
Mikel Arteta, how good is Football Live?
I've been really impressed.
Pep, Football Live love you, but do you love Football Live?
They are unique and I enjoy a lot.
Sean Dyche, do you listen to Football Live, the greatest football show on earth?
What you're talking about now? They know and I know, and you probably do know, they've made a lot of mistakes along the way.
Okay, so we need to work on Sean Dyche.
It's an absolute cracker. Fantastic.
Incredible, amazing, unbelievable,
sensational. Fantastic.
This is amazing on Football Live.
You can interact on today's show on X at FootBLiveShow. That's FootBLiveshow. That's FootBLiveShow on X. We'd love to hear from you.
It's time to get straight into the action.
When you hear that noise, you know there's been a goal.
With the best reporters in the business.
What an afternoon of football. It's been absolutely fantastic. We've got even more coming up for you.
With the best unrivaled football coverage on the air.
Football Live really is the place to be this afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody.
And a warm welcome to the biggest and best football show on the radio.
If you've only just joined us, where on earth have you been? The goals are absolutely flying in.
And you could not have scripted this.
Well, I said the wheels were falling off. Wheels, the doors, the steering wheel, it's all come off.
What an absolute beauty.
That's okay, I've been called a lot worse.
Well, what about that?
It's just gorgeous football.
Describe to me what's just happened.
Kulusevski, it's a fantastic header.
What a goal.
Nobody has the answers.
It just had to be him.
A fairy tale return for Ivan Toney.
This is amazing on Football Live.
That's why we love Football Live, because it has been a pulsating afternoon on Football Live.
Absolutely sensational.
Visit the official Football Live website and find out more about the show and the people behind Football Live. Visit www.footballliveshow.uk and follow us on X at FootBLiveShow. Live and exclusive to Brila FM. You are tuned in to Football Live.
Hello and a very good afternoon to you.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody.
Absolute screamer.
Banging form into dreamland.
Oh my God, they were crying.
What was he doing in the box?
Check my phone, mate. He's not in there.
He looks thoroughly disgusted.
They've been absolutely brilliant. That's proper.
So much to tell you about.
So much going on.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
In the Premier League, you just never know.
You are listening to Football Live.
So we've got so much coming up on Football Live. We are covering everything in England, in Germany, in Italy, in Spain, in Saudi Arabia, in Nigeria. You name it, we've got it covered here on Football Live.
Our fantastic team of reporters will be bringing you all the goals as they go in the biggest games across the footballing world.
We love a bit of drama here on Football Live, and we've plenty of it this afternoon.
From the beginning.
Hit it, boys.
You are listening to Football Live.
Join on the corner where the big boys play.
Let's get back to the big match action.
You are listening live to Football Live.
Here is your host, Dean Kilford.
Well, thank you very much, FJ. You, of course, now listening to Football Live. We've got another hour of fantastic action ahead for you on what is one of the favourite days of the English Football League calendar. It's FA Cup third round day. Before the second halves do get underway, there's been some big news for Everton, and the most unkept secret was finally put out the box this morning as David Moyes was confirmed as Everton manager for a second time. The 61-year-old Scot has signed a 2.5-year contract following the sacking of Sean Dyche just minutes before their FA Cup victory against Plymouth on Thursday evening. Everton are 16th currently in the Premier League, just 1 point clear of the relegation zone. And I would love to bring in Richard Bond, if I may, just to discuss this appointment and how, from an Everton perspective, are they feeling with this change of managerial?
Well, it was extraordinary timing, just before an FA Cup tie, 3 hours before. Can you imagine what the players were thinking with that one? But they managed to get through. It's one of those, it's a bit mixed. As an Everton fan, I kind of thought, a bit disappointed. I like Sean Dyche. He's a good guy. He gets a lot out of those players. He's on a small budget, but they have only won 3 games this season. He's one of the lowest scorers in the league, 15 goals. Only Southampton, who are bottom, have scored less. It doesn't look as if you're creating that many chances. So it's not chances that have been created have been missed too much. Starved of opportunities. So I think something needs to perhaps change. David Moyes is, I think, a good appointment. It's a solid, safe pair of hands to come in. He knows the club. He's worked with some of the players before. And, he can get the best out of what they've got for now. And hopefully the owners will back him. I think that's the key thing, really. They're lacking in investment. The last couple of seasons have seen them just slip right down the bottom. They've been, some would say, lucky, really, to stay up. Really, Burnley and Leeds have gone down, but it could have easily been Everton on those, and it could be the case this year. Now, it might be one too many, but there's a lot of fight left in. We're only halfway through the season, and I think Everton fans will be happy that they haven't really gone for a flamboyant overseas appointment, and they've gone with Moyes.
What do you think the ceiling is for David Moyes? Of course, he had success in his first spell. That Everton were perennial contenders for that Europa League spot under his management. Of course, got the Champions League spot one season as well. You saw what he did at West Ham. He won them the Europa Conference League. Do you think that's the aspiration now, or is it more a case of just steadying the ship for this season?
Well, for this year, yeah, very much keeping the side up and trying to make their way more towards the middle of the table. It's not much between a lot of the teams in the middle at times. And, you can see then if you can regroup and start well, someone like Forest this year now, they've built a solid base and they've kept things tight at the back. They haven't conceded many goals. And then they've worked well as a team and they've got themselves in a good position. We've seen teams like Brighton, Brentford. They've all developed over the last few years. You've got to be patient with a manager. But he will need backing.
He will need backing, and that remains to be seen. Of course, with the new stadium to look at as well, money and funds might well be tight. Well, thank you very much, Richard. What remains to be seen, how David Moyes' second spell in charge of the Toffees goes. Meanwhile, the second halves are underway, and we've already had our first goal. And it should maybe come as no surprise that the goal has come down at the Vitality Stadium, where Bournemouth now lead West Bromwich Albion by 4-1. An incredible afternoon for the Cherries as Semenyo has got in on the act as well. They now lead by 4-1. And what a great start to the second half for the Cherries. The Baggies have got a long trip back to the Midlands, and let's hope that the weather is kind to them in those cold conditions down on the south coast. Elsewhere, I can tell you about a third goal for Freiburg in the Bundesliga. Grifo with the goal 15 minutes from time to make it 3-0 to Freiburg against Holstein Kiel, I should say. Meanwhile, let's just check in with Paul James, who is covering for us the game between Norwich City and Brighton. But he'll have one eye tomorrow on the big game of the third round between Manchester United and Arsenal. The question for you, Paul, is this a big game for Mikel Arteta?
Well, it's a massive game. I think really at this point, the league has gone at this point. So I think the FA Cup should be something they should be looking to seriously contend for. It's a tough tie with Manchester United, almost a rejuvenated Manchester United with their performance against Liverpool, and Arsenal's performance against Brighton was not the best. So I think it's a good opportunity for Mikel Arteta to get things back on track.
So you've got the FA Cup game against Manchester United, but then it's just 3 days later, there's just the small matter of a North London derby as well. Surely there must be, with all the injuries that are occurring at Nwaneri, Nwaneri, I should say, is the latest player to get injured. Is there got to be some conservation ahead of that one?
It's a very, very tricky task for Mikel Arteta, because you're right, their injuries are piling up, and they've been very, very unfortunate. I suspect he may try and bring in some younger players for the FA Cup game, but I really think he ought to focus on this FA Cup game as well, because I think if Arsenal are going to win anything this season, they've got a good chance with the FA Cup.
So do you think the Carabao Cup is out of their hands now, or could you see a turnaround at St James's Park?
I think it would be very difficult. St James's Park is a fortress. They've got fantastic fans there. I don't see Arsenal turning that one round, I'm afraid.
So the hat once again for Mikel Arteta appears to be hanging on the FA Cup. So says our very own reporter Paul James. Thank you very much, Paul, on that one. Arsenal versus Manchester United tomorrow afternoon. Of course, we're focusing on the FA Cup third round this afternoon. Second halves are underway, including at the City Ground, where Sunderland are taking on Stoke City, and Stoke City has started the second half almost as well as they started the first half, Ethan Gardner.
Yeah, well, like you say, they scored early in the first half and they were very close to notching a second early in the second. A great cross came in from midfielder Seiko, towards the back post, and Lewis Baker was there looking to get a header. He got the power, but not the direction. It went just wide of the post, and Sunderland survive another early scare. They're going to have to claw this one back and get a bit more control on it if they want to progress to the fourth round. It remains after 49 minutes. Sunderland 0, Stoke 1.
Thank you very much. In League 1, Mardi Kamara has scored for Brest. They now lead Lyon by a goal to nil. Brest's season continues in fine form, and they're going from strength to strength in League 1 as well against high-flying Lyon. Let's go and hear about that fourth Bournemouth goal with Jordan Ockley.
Yeah. And credit to Brooks, and credit because he has literally been on the pitch for only a short time. He's come on for Aarons and he's made an instant impact. Brooks with the assist and Semenyo with the fourth goal was a very tidy finish. And Bournemouth, I said it could be a cricket score and it still might be. 4-1 is already getting close to that. Bournemouth are completely running away with it here at the Vitality Stadium. Nothing West Brom can do. And now that Semenyo's on, surely it's only going to get worse. So it's Bournemouth 4, West Brom 1.
Thank you very much, Jordan. Let's go now to the City Ground, and once again with Paul James, where Norwich City have made a couple of changes as they look to find a way back in against Brighton.
Yes, no half-time appearance by Delia Smith, who she is at the game today, but a double substitution at half-time for Norwich. Callum Fisher and Brad Hills have come on for Callum Doyle and Amankwa Forson. So double change for Norwich, and they are still 2-0 down with 3 minutes gone at the start of the second half.
Thank you very much, Paul James. To Stamford Bridge, where Chelsea lead Morecambe by a goal to nil, and quite a few changes at the break, Jack Hesson.
Yeah, Maresca has sprung some changes to try and snatch that second goal in the second half. Pedro Neto has been replaced by Jadon Sancho, Reece James replaced by Malo Gusto, and Romeo Lavia has been replaced by Mark Cucurella, which also suggests a change of shape for the Blues as well. 47 minutes on the clock, still Chelsea 1, Morecambe 0.
Thank you very much, Jack. Let's go and check in at the GTEC Community Stadium, Brentford taking on Plymouth Argyle. No goals in the first half and not many chances. How has the second half started there, Luke?
It's been pretty much the same sort of impetus so far, but both sides are trying a little bit more energy here, but there's still no clear-cut chances, and I still feel like Brentford are missing something up top. They've had a couple of interesting crosses played in by Rico Henry, who's been lively and been really impressive on his return from injury, from a long-term ACL injury he's suffered. He's been out for a few months. And he's been very lively on the left-hand side, and he's played in a couple of good crosses, but with no one there, as I say, a Johan Visser or a Brian Mbeumo to be on the end of it, they have been unable to make any sort of real headway. So with 52 minutes gone, it's still Brentford 0, Plymouth 0.
Thank you very much, Luke. Maresco made the changes at the break to try and get a second goal, and it's worked! He may have missed from 12 yards, but Christopher Nkunku has doubled Chelsea's lead from open play. They now have a cushion against the side, ranked 87 places below them. It's Chelsea 2, Morecambe 0. And surely now Chelsea have a safe passageway through to the fourth round. Whilst we wait to hear about that goal, let's go back down to Carrow Road to see how those Norwich City changes have changed the potential outcome of this one, but I don't think it has, Paul James.
No, at the moment, Brighton still coming forward in numbers, creating chances. This time, Yakubo Minta finds himself just inside the penalty area. He strikes the shot really well. A fingertip save by George Long stops it from being 3-0 to Brighton. But there has been very little from Norwich in return. A half chance on the edge of the area from Lewis Dobbin was just wide of Jason Steele's goal, but it's on the long run of this game. It's looking very much like Brighton are just in control right now. 2-0 with 5 minutes gone in the second half.
Thank you very much, Paul. Let's go to Stamford Bridge and hear about that Nkunku goal with Jack Hesson.
Yeah, it's from 0 in the first half to hero in the second half. It's the goal they needed, and it was some good play on the left-hand side. Cucurella takes the ball to the byline, tries to get it across, hits off a Morecambe man towards the path of Gayu. Gayu's shot is well saved by Burgoyne, but the rebound falls to Nkunku, and it's an easy finish from there. 51 minutes on the clock, Chelsea 2, Morecambe 0.
Every Saturday afternoon from 4 o'clock. Join us right here on Brila FM for Football Live.
Oh, yes!
Unrivaled action-packed coverage of the big Premier League action.
And that's no exaggeration.
Taking the action to you, the listener.
This is just incredible.
All of the goals.
It was a super strike, it has to be said.
All the key action.
It is a fantastic strike.
Cutting-edge opinion.
He's just not the right guy.
Expert analysis.
So I'm quite impressed the way they played.
Brilliant coverage from our team of reporters.
5 goals for Chelsea, 3 goals for Cole Palmer.
There's only one place to be on a Saturday afternoon, and that's right here on Brila FM for Football Live.
Football Live returns to Brila FM next Saturday afternoon. Liverpool in the thick of the action as they go to Brentford. We've also got West Ham against Crystal Palace in a London derby. Fulham look to continue their excellent form away at struggling Leicester City. And in the Bundesliga, it's Bayern Munich against Wolfsburg. A busy Saturday afternoon. Join John Kane from 4 o'clock next Saturday afternoon, right here on Football Live, exclusive to Brila FM.
Hello and a very good afternoon to you.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody.
Absolute screamer.
Banging form into dreamland.
Oh my God, they were crying.
What was he doing in the box?
Check my phone, mate, he's not in there.
He looks thoroughly disgusted.
They've been absolutely brilliant. They're the proper.
So much to tell you about.
So much going on.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
In the Premier League, you just never know.
You are listening to Football Live on Brila FM 88.9 and 101.1 FM.
From the beginning.
Hit it, boys.
You are listening to Football Live.
Join corner where the big boys play.
You are listening live to Football Live.
Here is your host, Dean Kilford.
Well, just a couple of goals to bring you up to date with Heidenheim has scored a second against Union Berlin. Of course, Union Berlin down to 10 men. And Adrian Beck with the second goal from 7 minutes left to go. The home side leading that one by 2-0. In the Saudi Pro League, Al Qadisiyah 0, Alto 1-2 is a latest score. Barrow and Al Ahmed with the goals in the first half. About 50 minutes left to go there. And full-time score earlier on in the Saudi Pro League. Al Aruba 0, Al Hilal 5 was a full-time score. Neves opened the score from the penalty spot after 16 minutes. Lodi doubled the leads. Al Balia and a double from Leonardo capped a very fine second half as Al Hilal impressively won by 5-0. Let's head back to the Stadium of Light. It's been very flat from the home side as Stoke City are the team looking more likely to get a second one in this one, Ethan Gardner.
Yeah, the Potters knocking on the door. They want the assurance that a second goal would bring, and they've had a couple of opportunities that weren't a million miles away from bringing that second goal. Young winger Lewis Kumas with the first. He's been exceptional down the left-hand side for them all day. He cut inside and hit one that just went wide of the right-hand post. And then since then, midfielder Wouterberger, who's also been excellent for the Potters today, hit one just over the bar. We are having some stoppages at the moment. The English-Nigerian left-back Ajibola Aleze is injured. Sunderland warming up a substitution for him. We're not sure quite yet what head coach Régis Lebris has planned for the Black Cats, but for now, they remain a goal down after 58 minutes. It's Sunderland 0, Stoke 1.
Thank you very much, Ethan. Let's get back to Carrow Road, where Brighton were so close to getting a third ball, James.
Oh, yes, what an opportunity. It was played through by Karen Mitona, and Yakubo Minter was through one-on-one with the goalkeeper, George Long. The problem is Minter just pushed the ball too far ahead of him, and the goalkeeper came out and claimed it. Minter went over the top of George Long and appears to be injured, but what a chance that would have been to kill the tie. It's Norwich 0, Brighton 2, 10 minutes gone in the second half.
Thank you very much, Paul. Just a further update and anecdote from that game in the Saudi Pro League. Al Hilal 5, Al Aruba 0, I should say. Al Aruba sacked their manager after the game, and the new man in charge is the Iraqi national Adnan Hamad, who used to be the national team manager. So big changes in the Saudi Pro League, and in particular for Al Aruba, who have decided enough was enough. It finished in Serie Empoli 1, Lecce 3, and Udinese 0, Atalanta 0. They are full-time scores. So that means that Atalanta missed out on the opportunity to join Napoli at the top of the table. They're now 2 points adrift of the league leaders. For Udinese, well, that's a good point for them, but it still sees them remain 6 points off those European places currently occupied by Fiorentina. Meanwhile, at Carrow Road, there has been a third goal. And cometh the hour, cometh the man. Brighton Hove Albion lead by 3 goals, and surely a safe passageway through to the FA Cup 4th round. Norwich City just haven't been at the races. Delia or no Delia, I don't think she'd have helped them this afternoon. And maybe she's taken a turn in goal. Who knows? We'll join Paul James shortly to find out the details of that third Brighton goal. Meanwhile, let's bring you up to date with a couple more goals in the Bundesliga. And it's got very, very interesting in the game between Freiburg and Holstein Kiel. Freiburg with 3-0 up after 74 minutes, but 2 goals in 5 minutes from Harris have made it a nail-biting finish in this one. Phil Harris, the man signed for just €1 million a couple of seasons ago. The 22-year-old has scored twice in 5 minutes. It's now 3-2 in that one, and who knows whether they complete a quite remarkable comeback. Julio Enciso has been credited with that third Brighton goal. So Norwich 0, Brighton 3 in the FA Cup. They're surely going through to the FA Cup 4th round, where they'll be joined by, no doubt, Bournemouth, who lead West Bromwich Albion by 4-1. Chelsea lead Morecambe by 2-0. Since the second goal, has there been any further chances for Chelsea to extend that lead, Jack Hesson?
Yeah, chances kind of few and far between. I think Chelsea just trying to settle things down and see this game really out now. There was a chance for Morecambe there on the left-hand side. Graham Edwards had some space but couldn't get the ball into the box. And really now for Chelsea, they'll be looking to try and seal this off. 57 minutes on the clock. Still Chelsea 0, Chelsea 2, Morecambe 0.
Thank you very much, Jack. Let's go to the GTEC Community Stadium. No goals between Brentford and Plymouth, and not much going on, Luke Shelton.
No, but hopefully that's all about to change. There's been a couple of substitutions for both sides. Plymouth have made an attacking change, taking off Ghanaian Michael Beidou and replacing him with Sierra Leone striker Mustafa Bundu, with hopes that he'll be able to make a difference up top for the visitors. But the real excitement for the home fans is the appearances of Keane Lewis Potter and Brian Mbuemo, who've come in to really liven up Brentford's attack and hopefully get their home side to victory within the 90-minute period. So I'll keep you posted. 63 minutes gone, though. It's still 0-0 here.
Thank you very much. Meanwhile, there's been a second goal at the Stadium of Light. And the home side have been lit up with an equalising goal. It's now 1-0, Sunderland 1, Stoke City 1. A big goal. There's an injury to tell you about in that game as well. I was about to announce another goal, but Chelsea thought they had the ball in the back of the net. Well, they did have the ball in the back of the net, but it has been disallowed. We'll get you details of that one very, very shortly. We'll get you details of that Sunderland equaliser very shortly. Alexic is the man who has been credited with that goal. The Serbian forward has got Sunderland level in that one. Chelsea's goal can confirm has been ruled out. Let's go and hear though about that equalising goal for Sunderland with Ethan Gardner.
Well, I'm pretty sure it's his first touch of the ball. As you say, Alexic, the goal scorer, he came on as a substitution just a couple of minutes ago for Sunderland, and he's tucked this one away very neatly. Not a lot that Stoke could have done about that. They could say it's against the run of play, but there have been changes made, one of which was the left-back for Sunderland, Ajibola Eleze, going off of the pitch injured, which is an unfortunate one, but now the substitutions they've made to replace him have completely changed the match. Sunderland looking better, and this goal will put them on the right track. An equaliser for the Black Cats after 64 minutes. It's Sunderland 1, Stoke 1.
Thank you very much. Let's go and hear about that third Brighton goal with Paul James.
Yes, it was another defensive travesty from Norwich City. The ball was given away by the substitute by the substitute Brad Hills. Now, he gave it straight to the goal scorer, which was Julio Enciso, but the goalkeeper was already caught out of position. So from a really tight angle, he just curls it in off the post to the left-hand side. And it's 3-0, and this tie is over. And this is one game Norwich will want to forget. 29 minutes to go. It is 3-0 to Brighton.
Thank you very much, Paul. And meanwhile, there's been a second goal at the City grounds. And Luton Town's poor away form looks to continue as Ramon Sosa has scored a second for Nottingham Forest. They lead by 2-0. And Nottingham Forest's fine season looks to continue. In that Bundesliga game between Freiburg and Holstein Kiel, it's finished 3-2 despite that late comeback. Holstein Kiel couldn't get a crucial third goal and Freiburg hold on for all 3 points. Brest have also got a second goal against Lyon. Kamara's second of the afternoon. Let's make it Brest 2, Lyon 0, 25 minutes into that one. Meanwhile, let's go back to the game at the GTEC Community Stadium. Brentford versus Plymouth Argyle. And it's the visitors that almost took the lead, Luke Cholton.
Yeah, and it's excellent work from substitute Mustafa Bundu. Cutting in from the left-hand side, he beats his man all ends up and plays in a delicious cross to the far post where Matthew Sorinola runs in and should do better, really. It's a free header, but he can't manage to keep his effort on target and it blazes over the bar. But unmarked, about 6 yards out, he should be doing a lot better with that chance. But it feels like Plymouth feel confident that the longer they can keep the score 0-0, the longer they feel like they may have a chance to be able to nick a goal and get a famous victory here against Premier League Brentford. So with 67 minutes gone, it's Brentford 0, Plymouth 0.
Great stuff. Thank you very much. Plymouth looking to cause the upset of the day so far. Earlier on, I just told you about Brest's second goal against Lyon. It looks like Ajorque, Ludwig Ajorque has been credited with the goal. He got the final touch to make it 2-0 to Brest. So Kamara denied his second, but he still has one, and Brest still have two. Exeter City have got a third goal against Oxford United. They now lead by 3-1, and Vincent Harper has got that goal after 64 minutes. And in the African Champions League, Stade d'Abidjan have scored. They lead 1-0 against Al Ahly from Egypt. It's 1-0 in that one. Call with the goal after 26 minutes. Let's go to Stamford Bridge. Chelsea versus Morecambe. We thought Chelsea got a third goal. The fans may have got excited, but it hit the side netting, I believe, Jack Hesson.
Yeah, it was one of those ones, a fierce shot from Cucurella, driven towards the bottom left-hand corner, smacks off the side net and hits the ad board at the back, comes back onto the net, and it makes it look like the ball's went in the back of the net, but it hadn't, and it's still 2-0. Good chance there, however, from a corner for Chelsea on the far side, whipped in towards the front post, and Kunku gets his head onto it, his header driven towards the back post where Disasi was there for what would essentially have been a tap-in, but he couldn't guide his header towards the back of the net. 63 minutes on the clock, still Chelsea 2, Morecambe 0.
Thank you very much, Jack. Sunderland were pretty poor for 60 minutes or so of this game. How have they been since they've equalised, Ethan Gardner?
Well, the momentum of this match has completely swung. That goal has brought real signs of encouragement to the home side and their fans. It's Alexic again with the chance. The cross came in and he headed one on target that forced a save out of Victor Johansson. But the men in red and white stripes are all over the pitch now. They're working chances, they're causing Stoke problems, and it's going to be a difficult task to hold on to anything for the Potters now after 68 minutes. Could be more, but Sunderland 1, Stoke 1.
Thank you very much, Ethan. So extra time and penalties looming at the Stadium of Light. One game that surely isn't going to go to extra time is the game at Carrow Road, and maybe now a chance for Brighton to rest some players before the midweek round of Premier League games, Paul James.
Yes, indeed they have. They took both goal scorers off, Julio Enciso and Jorginho Ruta, and brought on Brian Gruda and Danny Welbeck. Also a substitution for Norwich City. Onel Hernandez came on to replace Marcelino Nunes. So still 3-0 here with 25 minutes to go.
Thank you very much, Paul. Let's go and hear about that second Forest goal against Luton Town with Richard Bond.
Yeah, surely game over in this one now. Forest have got the second goal and they don't concede many, but this one was a really good, swift counter-attacking finish from Ramon Sousa. And I tell you what, the really good tackle in the midfield from Ryan Yates has been fantastic. Captain's performance from him. He set aside to Jota Silva on the right-hand side. He sprinted clear, really punishing that Luton defence, who've actually played pretty decent this afternoon. Started the cross, Ramon Sousa, a little bit of a tap-in from 6 yards. I think that's game over. 20 minutes ago, it's Forest 2, Luton 0.
Thank you very much, Richard. Burnley have taken the lead against League One Reading. Lyle Foster with the goal to make it 1-0 to Burnley. So Reading 0, Burnley 1. Let's bring you up to date with all of the latest FA Cup scores in our featured games, and we'll go and join Jordan very, very shortly. It's Bournemouth 4, West Bromwich Albion 1. It's Brentford 0, Plymouth 0, Chelsea 2, Morecambe 0, Exeter City 3, Oxford United 1, Norwich 0, Brighton 3, Nottingham Forest 2, Luton 0, Reading 0, Burnley 1, and Sunderland 1, Stoke 1. Let's go and join Jordan Ockley in what's been a relatively comfortable afternoon for Bournemouth. Are they taking their foot off the gas, or do you feel they could score more in this one?
Yeah, they've completely taken their foot off the gas. They're pretty much not in the car, to be honest. It's all West Brom in this second half, but West Brom struggling to really create any meaningful chances. They've made 2 substitutions, West Brom. They've brought on Moat and Rakic for Malumbi and Diakite. But I'm sure the Bournemouth fans will be happy with the 4-1 scoreline, but they won't be too happy with the way their team have played in their second half. They've completely dropped back and just allowed West Brom to produce attack after attack after attack. But like I said, West Brom haven't really created too many chances, but it has been better from them in the second half. It's still Bournemouth 4, West Brom 1.
Indeed, with such a big margin of leads, you could expect that there's one eye on the Premier League round of fixtures this midweek. The games coming thick and fast, as they always do. Let's go back to the City ground. Nottingham Forest versus Luton Town. Forest 2 goals up, but Luton not going down without a fight, Richard Bond.
Well, I said it was game over and it nearly wasn't a minute ago. Tell you what, Luton have thrown a couple of strikers on. Jacob Brown and Elijah Adebayo's come on, so they've got 3 up top now. And it was the 2 substitutes combined. Brown then had a really good opportunity, 6 yards out. But third time this afternoon, Carlos Miguel, the 6'7" Brazilian keeper, gets down and saves, palms it around the post. It's a big chance for Luton, that one. But at least they're showing a bit more intent now. I'll say game back on with 20 minutes to go.
Indeed. Right. Let's go to the G-Tech Community Stadium. Brentford versus Plymouth Argyle. The home fans getting a little bit nervous, and Thomas Frank has made some. In fact, before we do that, there has been a third goal at Stamford Bridge. And this time it is the back of the net rather than the side netting, as Chelsea have a 3-goal lead against Morecambe. Their dominance is surely paying off, and Adebayo has got his second of the afternoon, and Chelsea now lead by 3-0. Whilst we wait to hear about that goal, let's in fact go back to the G-Tech Community Stadium and hear about some changes made by Thomas Frank, Luke Cholton.
Yeah, and he's gone all out now in attack with the substitution of Johan Visser coming in to replace debutant Paris Magorma, who's had a decent game in midfield for Brentford, but they've now gone back to their starting front 3 for the Premier League matches with Kevin Schade, Johan Visser and Brian Mbeumo all up top. for the home side, really looking to get that goal here. I think Thomas Frank certainly wants to avoid extra time and certainly wants to avoid penalties, because he certainly would like to see his team in the fourth round activity in the FA Cup. So a victory today is definitely on the cards for them, and they're going all out now with all their attackers on the pitch, really trying to find a goal here with the remaining 15 minutes. But it currently stands with 75 minutes gone. Brentford 0, Plymouth 0.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much. I was going to go and tell you, go and join Jack Hesson to hear about that third Chelsea goal. But before I do that, I've got to tell you about a fourth goal at Carrow Road. And what an afternoon this is turning out to be for the teams from the South Coast. Bournemouth scored 4 against West Bromwich Albion, and now Brighton have got 4 goals against Norwich City. They now lead by 4 goals to 0. What an afternoon it is for the Seagulls. I can tell you that Reading have equalised against Burnley as well in the FA Cup. Meanwhile, let's go and hear about that third Chelsea goal with Jack Hesson.
Oh, wow, what a goal from Adebayo. Well, if the first goal he scored took a wicked deflection, that one was as sweet a strike as you'll see. Tyrell George on the left-hand side spots him just on the edge of the area, about 25 yards from goal. The pass goes towards Viega just in front of him. He dummies it, allowing Adebayo to go for the shot on goal, and it's a lovely right-footed curling effort towards the right-hand side. Bergwijn in goal had absolutely no chance of getting there. A great goal from the Nigerian eligible Adebayo, and it's game, set and match at the Bridge. Chelsea 3, Morecambe 0, 18 minutes to go.
Every Saturday afternoon from 4 o'clock. Join us right here on Brila FM for Football Live.
Oh, yes!
Unrivaled action-packed coverage of the big Premier League action.
And that's no exaggeration.
Taking the action to you, the listener.
This is just incredible.
All of the goals.
It was a super strike, it has to be said.
All the key action.
It is a fantastic strike.
Cutting-edge opinion.
He's just not the right guy.
Expert analysis.
So I'm quite impressed the way they played.
Brilliant coverage from our team of reporters.
5 goals for Chelsea, 3 goals for Cole Palmer.
There's only one place to be on a Saturday afternoon, and that's right here on Brila FM for Football Live.
Football Live returns to Brila FM next Saturday afternoon. Liverpool in the thick of the action as they go to Brentford. We've also got West Ham against Crystal Palace in a London derby. Fulham look to continue their excellent form away at struggling Leicester City. And in the Bundesliga, it's Bayern Munich against Wolfsburg. A busy Saturday afternoon. Join John Kane from 4 o'clock next Saturday afternoon, right here on Football Live, exclusive to Brila FM.
Hello and a very good afternoon to you.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody.
Absolute screamer.
Banging form.
Into dreamland.
Oh my God, they were crying.
What was he doing in the box?
Check my phone, mate, he's not in there.
He looks thoroughly disgusted.
They've been absolutely brilliant. That's proper.
So much to tell you about.
So much going on.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
In the Premier League, you just never know.
You are listening to Football Live on Brila FM 88.9 and 101.1 FM.
From the beginning.
Hit it, boys.
You are listening to Football Live.
Join Find a Corner where the big boys play.
You are listening live to Football Live.
Here is your host, Dean Kilford.
Well, before we hear about Brighton's 4th goal, we must tell you about a 4th goal for Chelsea. And it's João Felix getting in on the act. Last time these two sides met was in the FA Cup and this stage, and it finished Chelsea 4, Morecambe 0. That day is history about to repeat itself. Well, that's the scoreline as it stands with 15 minutes or so left to go. Before then, though, let's go to Carrow Road and hear about a quite special goal for one Solly March, Paul James.
Yes, I'll get to that in a moment. There was a double substitution just prior to Solly March's goal, and Solly March was one of those substitutes, along with Rui McGonville, who came on for Adam Webster and Yakubo Minter. Well, the goal had some controversy to it. It was a ball played through, but in an offside position was the substitute, substitute Danny Welbeck. Danny Welbeck was in an offside position. He ran towards the ball. He maybe should have been given as offside, but the ball eventually found the local lad Solly Marsh, who curled it into the top right-hand corner. It was a magnificent strike. And coming back after a year out, what a moment that is for Solly Marsh. What a moment for Brighton as they cruise into round 4. 4-0 with 15 minutes left.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Paul James. Yeah, Solly March from Lewis, not far from Brighton, came up from the youth team and has had quite the remarkable schoolboy dream career. I was going to go to Jack Hesson to hear about a 4th Chelsea goal, but I have to stop because there's now been a 5th. And it's a second for João Felix, 2 in 2 minutes for the diminutive forward, who has filled his boots this afternoon and given Chelsea the sort of credibility they've been looking for with the strong lineup they named in this game against Morecambe. Chelsea 5, Morecambe 0 is the latest score in that one. Whilst we wait to join Jack in that, let's go to the City Ground, Nottingham Forest versus Luton Town, where we've had some changes. In fact, wait a minute, because we've had a goal to the G-Tech. And a reminder that Brentford have not beaten Plymouth in 9 previous FA Cup fixtures. It could well now be 10, as it's Plymouth that have the lead against Brentford. It's the away side that could have the big shock of the round. It's Brentford 0, Plymouth 1 with just 8 minutes to go. And what a shock that could be. Plymouth leading at the G-Tech Community Stadium. Whilst we wait to hear about that goal, let's hear about not 1 but 2 Chelsea goals, Jack Hesson.
Yeah, and 2 beauties from the Portuguese man, João Felix. The first one, Tyreek George on the left-hand side, tees it up for him just on the edge of the area from about 20 yards, and he hits a low-driven right foot shot into the bottom right-hand corner. Really nice finish from the man from Portugal. And then the second goal there, once again play on the left hand side, Cucurella feeds the ball to Felix, and then just inside the box on the left hand side hits a curler with his right foot towards the bottom left hand corner. And well, if there was any doubt for Chelsea at half time, it's certainly gone now. The substitutes from Maresca have reigned supreme, and they're going to come out here and into the next round. 80 minutes on the clock. It's Chelsea 5, Morecambe 0.
Thank you very much, Jack. Let's go and hear about that Plymouth goal with Luke Charlton.
The cup upset is well and truly on. And it's Morgan Whittaker, the talisman for Plymouth Argyle. He cuts in from the right-hand side. He runs into the centre of the field unchallenged. He tries to get the ball out onto his left foot on a couple of occasions. He eventually works the space and takes a shot, which takes a wicked deflection off the back of a Brentford defender and beats the keeper. All ends up and gives Plymouth the lead with less than 10 minutes to go here at the G-Tech. They have not won away from home since Rotherham away last season, back in April. So this would be a dream start for the new manager for Plymouth Argyle. And to see them in the 4th round of the F.A. Cup, if they can hold on here. With 83 minutes gone, it's Brentford 0, Plymouth Argyle 1.
We said at the start of the show there would be an upset somewhere, and it could well be at the G-Tech Community Stadium. And that looks to be the case as we're into the final 6 minutes or so of normal time. Let's now finally join Richard Bond at the City Ground, where Forest have had chances aplenty to put this game to bed.
Yeah, and three big guns are on. Antti Elanga from the left-hand side swung in, really good cross. He found the hitman, the Sheriff of Nottingham, Chris Wood. He headed down, and then he found that man coming in. Well, I've forgotten his name. Callum Hudson-Odoi, sorry. And he smashed the ball, which flew over the bar, but it was inches over. That could have been game over. But we're still, with 6 minutes to go, Forest 2, Luton 0.
Thank you very much. All square it currently is at the Stadium of Light. Sunderland 1, Stoke City 1. Any sign of a winner from either side, Ethan Gardner?
Well, if it's going to come, it's going to come for the hosts. Sunderland putting so much pressure on Stoke now, all the time having the ball and creating chances. The latest falling for striker Aaron Connolly, who was in behind the defence against the goalkeeper, but his shot across the angle was a little bit weak and caught by the Stoke goalkeeper Johansson. Stoke have made substitutions themselves, but rather confusingly taken off their two main danger men. Kumas and Cannon, the goal scorer, have gone off the pitch for Niall Ennis and Bai Jun Ho. So if there's going to be a winner, I would put money on it being for Sunderland. But after 83 minutes, they're still level. It's Sunderland 1, Stoke 1.
Thank you very much, Ethan. Motherwell have pulled one back against Hibs. Callum Slattery with the goal. 14 minutes from time. It's Hibs 2, Motherwell 1. And in the FA.Cup between Exeter and Oxford, Oxford are down to 10 men. They'd also trailing by 3-1. Tyler Goodrum sent off with a straight red card for violent conduct. So let's go back to the City Ground, let's go back to Carrow Road, I should say. Norwich City versus Brighton Hove Albion. Changes for both sides, Paul James.
Yeah, both sides now used all their substitutes. First of all, the visitors Brighton have brought on Jakob Moder, and Joel Veltman has been replaced there. For Norwich, double substitution to wrap up their 5. USA international Josh Sargent and Shane Duffy are on. Being replaced is Ante Kranak and Ben Karisna. So still 4-0. I don't think it's going to make much difference. It's 9 minutes left. I think it's a comfortable path through for Brighton at this stage. 4-0.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much, Paul. Let's go back to the Vitality Stadium. We haven't heard from Jordan much in this second half. Bournemouth versus West Brom started to make some changes as they wind down the clock, I believe, Jordan.
Yeah, I believe you definitely called it. Bournemouth have definitely got an eye on the fixture on Tuesday against Chelsea because, they've taken off Brooks and brought on Kirkhead. So Bournemouth just trying to see this match out, to be honest, and trying to come through unscathed with no injuries. They're happy to let West Brom be on the ball. West Brom not so creative on the ball. So that's really just slowed things down in this match. But Bournemouth will be happy with their work today. They'll go into Tuesday's Premier League fixture with a lot of confidence because they have performed well today. And Utara might hope to get his hat-trick, but Bournemouth really struggling to get on the ball. It's all West Brom, but not many chances. Bournemouth 4, West Brom 1.
Thank you very much, Jordan. I can tell you that Hibs have restored their 2-goal margin against Motherwell. Martin Boyle from the penalty spot has made it Hibs 3, Motherwell 1. 19 goals and counting so far in our featured FA.Cup games here on Football Live. Let's bring you up to date with some full-time scores from the Bundesliga. It finished Freiburg 2, Holstein Kiel 2, Heidenheim 2, Union Berlin 0, Hoffenheim 0, Wolfsburg 1, Mainz 2, Bochum 0, and St. Pauli 0, Eintracht Frankfurt 1. Those were the full-time scores from the Bundesliga. In the Eredivisie, there was a big, long stoppage in the game between Heracles and Sparta Rotterdam. It has now resumed, but just 29 minutes have gone from a game that kicked off nearly an hour and 45 minutes ago. It's still goalless between Heracles and Sparta Rotterdam. We're approaching half-time in League on Brest lead Lyon by 2-0. And in the African Champions League, Sagrada and Pyramids are goalless as it stands going into half-time. And Stade Abidjan 1, Al Ali 0 is a latest score as well. Meanwhile, let's go back to the City Ground where Luton Town are just trying to get themselves something into this game, Richard Bond.
Yeah, they're trying their best to get something on the score sheet, and there's another good chance, a really good ball in from Liam Walsh. He found striker Carlton Morris, and he picked up a really nice movement off the corner, and his head is just going towards the far right-hand corner, slightly deflected off the centre-half, big centre-half Mark McGuinness, and the keeper's done really well just to palm that to a side out of danger. Carlos Miguel, he's had a really good performance today, really impressed with him. But Forest 2, Luton 0 with a couple of minutes to go.
Thank you very much, Richard. In League 1, Lyon have pulled a goal back in added time in the first half. Veretout with the goal to make it Brest 2, Lyon 1. It's going to be 4 minutes of added time at the City Ground. Nottingham Forest leading Luton Town by 2-0. Let's go back to Stamford Bridge, where Chelsea are putting on a 5-star performance against Morecambe, and they just easing through to the final whistle, Jack.
Yeah, I think so. They've taken the foot off the gas now, trying to see this one out till the end of the game. I say see it out, it is all but done, but just try and get out there with any no risk injuries or anything like that. Morecambe still pushing away, but nothing really in the second half. They did have a couple of half chances in that first half, but second half it really has been all Chelsea. The changes that Maresca sprung at half time have made all the difference, and with 84 minutes on the clock, it's still Chelsea 5, Morecambe 0.
Thank you very much, Jack. Let's go to the GTEC Community Stadium and hear how Brentford have responded to that Plymouth goal. Any sign of an equaliser in this one, Luke?
Well, they're pushing. They certainly are pushing for one. And Brian Mbuemo has just played in an excellent cross into the head of Johan Wissa. But it was, as it has been for most of the game, very well defended by the Plymouth centre-backs. They were able to head the ball away and to quell the threat of the chance. There's been an injury stoppage here for a short amount of time for one of the centre-halves for Plymouth, who's been held down and is receiving treatment. So that slowed the game down a little bit, and I'm sure that's all going to be added on for the injury time here. But with almost 90 minutes played, it's still Brentford 0, Plymouth 1.
Thank you very much, Luke. 3 minutes of added time to be played at the Vitality, where Bournemouth lead West Bromwich Albion by 4-1. There's going to be 7 added minutes at the Stadium of Light. Sunderland 1, Stoke City 1. Are either side going to win this in 90 minutes, Ethan?
Well, Sunderland still putting on plenty of pressure, working chance upon chance. The latest again coming from Aaron Connolly. At some point, he's got to tuck one of these away. Surely the Irish striker, but just about holding on. Stoke, the away side, looking bright at the Stadium of Light, though, for the hosts. And a late winner in that 7 long minutes of injury time is likely to come, I think. After 90 minutes, it's Sunderland 1, Stoke 1.
Yeah, Aaron Connolly's career has never quite hit the heights that it looked like when he was a youngster at Brighton. The Islands striker seems to have been sidetracked by fame and fortune. His career has derailed slightly. We thought that Bournemouth had taken their foot off the gas in their game against West Bromwich Albion, but not just in time for them to get a 5th goal. Yes, indeed. Bournemouth now lead by 5-1 at the Vitality Stadium. A goal in the 2nd minute of added time by Jebison. The Canadian forward has got the goal to make it 5-1, and a real comfortable afternoon has just had a bit more gloss to it. And let's go and hear about it with Jordan Ockley.
Yeah, Bournemouth round off the game with a lovely goal. And again, it was a counter-attack because it's been West Brom on the ball. This time it was Semenyo driving at the West Brom defenders. Played a through ball into Jebison. His first shot was saved, but then he was able to capitalise on the rebound and just stroke it in easily. The Canadian scores, and Bournemouth ever so comfortable at the Vitality Stadium. And it leaves something for the fans to cheer in the second half for Bournemouth. A great goal for Jebison. Bournemouth 5, West Brom 1.
Jebison bookends the scoring at the end of the second half. Semenyo scored in the first couple of minutes. Jebison scored in the last couple of minutes. Bournemouth have 5. Another team looking for 5 are Brighton Hove Albion. They currently lead by 4-0. But how wasn't it 5, Paul James?
I have no idea. There was 2 opportunities, actually. The first one was from Gruder, who got into the penalty area, curled the shot. It looks like it was, for all intents and purposes, heading to the right-hand corner of the net, but it just went wide. Secondly, Gruder came from chance to creator, swung the cross in, a free header for Danny Welbeck. All he had to do was get some contact on it. Could have been anything, but it just glances away from him and goes behind. Should have been 5. He's not going to care. Brighton are going through. 3 minutes of stoppage time left. We're in the 90th minute.
Thank you very much, Paul. There was almost a glimmer of a chance for Morecambe to get themselves on the score sheet at Stamford Bridge. Jack Hesson.
Yeah, almost a half chance there to let the away fans here go home with at least something. And it was Chelsea's back line caught slacking for once in this game. Max Taylor finds an easy pass to the substitute Hallam Hope. Loads of space to go towards and drive towards goal, but his shot towards goal was weak and it hit straight into the Chelsea goalkeeper Philip Jorgensen. So 89 minutes on the clock, still Chelsea 5, Morecambe 0.
Thank you very much, Jack. The full-time whistle has gone at the City Ground. It's finished Nottingham Forest 2, Luton Town 0. A comfortable afternoon for Nuno Espirito Santos men, Richard Bonds.
Yes, indeed. The Forest bandwagon continues as they progress through to the next round of the Cup. Really professional performance today from Forest, securing a really good win, 2-0 with goals from Ryan Yates in the first half, a well-timed run from a cross coming in, just a header into the back of the net, and Roman Souza, who scored from a counter-attacking, well-timed play in the second half. Forest had other chances, weren't at their best, but they did make a lot of changes today, and they secured their place into the fourth round of the Cup, and rested a lot of players ahead of their tie against Liverpool on Tuesday night. It's a fifth clean sheet in a row, which is remarkable for Nuno Espirito Santos' high flyers, really, as they have been just amazing this season, and no one really expected this. Luton had chances on the day and found Forest's spare keeper Carlos Miguel in really good form. Isaiah Jones and Carlton Morris are amongst those who had chances. Forest, though, comfortable winners on the day. It finished here, Forest 2, Luton 0.
Thank you very much, Richard. In one of the games that we're not featuring, but in the FA Cup third round between Reading and Burnley, it finished 1-1 in that one. They are going into extra time. One game that certainly isn't going to extra time was the game between Bournemouth and West Bromwich Albion. Despite West Bromwich Albion giving Bournemouth a bit of a square, it was a comfortable afternoon for the home side. They're safely through to the fourth round, Jordan Ockley.
Yeah, safely through to the fourth round indeed. Yeah, West Brom took the lead through Taylor, and it looked as if, we might have a game on our hands. West Brom might give Bournemouth a real challenge, but that was it from West Brom. After that, it was the Bournemouth show. Justin Kluivert scored after a Brooks assist, and then Utara got a brace in the first half and made it 3-1. And then in the second half, didn't take long for Semenyo to come on and score and make it 4-1 for Bournemouth. And then in the dying minutes of the game, Jebison made it 5-1. Easy game for Bournemouth. Very, very comfortable. They'll be having one eye on the Premier League. What a season Bournemouth are having, by the way. 7th in the Premier League, now through to the fourth round. Unbeaten in their last 9 games. Bournemouth really playing some wonderful football. West Brom were just outclassed today. Ends with Bournemouth 5 goals and West Brom with 1.
Thank you very much, Jordan. They're still playing at the GTEC Community Stadium. Is there still time for Brentford to find an equaliser against Plymouth? Our goal, Luke Chilton.
They're pushing as much as they can, but it feels like they're going to be running just short of time here. Plymouth are playing all the tricks in the book they can, trying to slow the clock down as much as possible, taking as long as they can with free kicks. A lot of players going down with cramp now. Really trying to make the clock for them drag out as quickly as they can to really get themselves through here for a famous victory. It'd be the first time in over 40 years that they would have beaten Premier League opposition in the FA Cup. So it would be a memorable day for them if they can hold out here. But we're talking a matter of seconds now before the full-time whistle blows. I can assure you of that. 96 minutes gone. It's still Brentford 0, Plymouth 1.
Thank you very much. Let's go down to Stamford Bridge. A comfortable afternoon for Chelsea, despite a hatful of missed chances in the first half, Jack Heston.
Yeah, full time at the Bridge, and they responded in the second half after what was a very sluggish first half. Of course, on 17 minutes, Christopher Nkunku, Chelsea won a penalty for a handball. Nkunku missed, good save from goalkeeper Harry Burgoyne, and on 39 minutes it was a deflected effort from about 20 yards from Tosin Adebayo that gave Chelsea the lead. Going into the second half, Maresca sprung the changes, Sancho, Cucurella and Malo Gusto all on, and it worked for them. It was a shot from Renato Viega that rebounded on the 50th minute to fall gratefully to Nkunku to make up for his penalty miss and put the ball into the back of the net. And then there was a flurry of goals from 70 minutes onwards. Tosin Adebayo with a 25-yard screamer to get his second of the afternoon and Chelsea's third. João Felix followed that up with his own screamer, a lovely finish in the bottom right-hand corner on 75 minutes, and then followed that up 2 minutes later with a lovely curling effort from just inside the box into the bottom left-hand corner to give Chelsea the win here against Morecambe, as expected. expected, but still, good win for them. It's full time at the Bridge, Chelsea 5, Morecambe 0.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much, Jack. Then to Carrow Road, where the Battle of the Birds finished with a comfortable victory for the Seagulls, Paul James.
Yes, very comfortable in the end. Norwich City 0, Brighton 4, and a real footballing lesson from Brighton on how to finish your chances. 2 goals by Jorginho Ruta. Julio Enciso added one almost on the hour mark. And then on 74 minutes, local boy, and coming back from a year's absence, Solly March struck a quite spectacular strike, curling it into the goalkeeper's top right corner. There may have been some controversy leading to the goal. Norwich created very little in the second half, and in the end, they'll come away from this with a 4-0 defeat. They went out last year at the 4th round stage. This time it's a 3rd round stage. Brighton go through.
Thank you very much, Paul. And let's go to the Stadium of Light, where extra time is going to be played, Ethan Gardner.
It is indeed. Stoke took the lead after 4 minutes here, and Sunderland were long into coming to life. But after just over an hour, Alexic equalised. Sunderland then piled on the pressure, but just before the end of time, they couldn't quite nick a winner. So they're going to have half an hour extra here. Sunderland looking to see this one out as hosts. Stoke hoping that a black cat crossing their path will be an omen of luck. Another 30 minutes at least at the Stadium of Light. It's Sunderland 1, Stoke 1.
Thank you very much, Ethan. And now for the big shock of the afternoon. And it was at the G-Tech Community Stadium. And it's Plymouth who are going through to the 4th round, Luke Cholton.
And it's scenes of pure jubilation for the travelling supporters as Captain Morgan has capped off an excellent display for Plymouth Argyle, who have beaten Brentford by 1-0. In what was a fairly flat and drab first half, the game sprung to life in the 80th minute with an excellent finish from Morgan Whittaker against the Premier League Brentford side, who are still yet to beat Plymouth in this competition, and now see Plymouth themselves into the 4th round, which is the perfect debut for their new incoming manager, who will oversee them for the remainder of the season. Final score here: Brentford 0, Plymouth 1.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much, Luke. Thank you very much to all of our reporters around the grounds in the FA Cup here this afternoon. Let's just recap the full-time scores for you. It finished Bournemouth 5, West Bromwich Albion 0, Brentford 0, Plymouth 1, as you just heard, Chelsea 5, Morecambe 0, Exeter City 3, Oxford United 1, Norwich City 0, Brighton Hove Albion 4, Nottingham Forest 2, Luton Town 0, and 2 games going into extra time. It finished Reading 1, Burnley 1, and Sunderland 1, Stoke City 1. Thank you very much for listening this afternoon. Be sure to join us next week where the fantastic John Kane will be in charge. What an afternoon you've got in store next Saturday. You've been listening to Dean Kilford. You've been listening to Football Live.
Thank you very much for joining us today on Football Live. We very much appreciate your company. We hope you can join us again next Saturday afternoon when we return right here on Football Live.